Canada, and right now I'm at Sanmin Jiashang. And I also work with this group twice a week. And this is my first time to this event, so I am also very nervous. But I like that this year, it's not really about scoring, it's about learning together. So that's where I feel comfortable, because I am learning all the time. So I'm not really here to show you anything. You're here to talk to us about what you've been doing, and maybe we can all come away with something new. That's my hope for today. So I think we need to get started right away. Yeah, I don't think there's, if you have any questions, you can talk to me later, okay? I've been doing this a long time, but I still don't know what I'm doing. So yeah, we're always constantly learning. So let's get going.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Teacher Nancy. Let's give a big applause to welcome the Group 1, 新竹实中同学 go to the stage, okay? Instruct students to do the like recycles and things. So first we collect a lot of pictures with 1:1 aspect ratio, and then we write a Python code to remove all the backgrounds. Next we throw them into the YOLO AI model that could help us to classify that can learn how to classify the trash photos. Next, after that, we watch the accuracy, and then we fix the code and try to solve the difficulties we faced, and then we finally got a 95% accuracy, which means that our model, which we call it LCM, is able to have a 95% accuracy on classifying the trash. At last, we established a website that could directly help students or other users to classify the trash photos. In the future, we look forward to turn it into a portable app, without Wi-Fi, so that the users and students can utilize them very easily. Or we hope to turn it into Internet on Things, which is called IoT. That we can set them on the trash can, so that when students throw their trash, the trash can is able to tell them if he or she is throwing the trash, is recycling correctly.
Okay. Can somebody tell me about your motivation? Really, why did you do this?
Okay, so I'm actually preparing for this part. So
oh, sorry.
Okay, so most of the biggest part of our reason is that we find out the recycle bin in our school is quite messy. Somebody will put bottle into the general waste or something. Yeah. We can find that our trash can is full of they are not doing the recycling well, and it's due to two reasons. After we like ask students, or we kind of like go for a research about it, and we found out that the two main reasons that why they can't really recycle them well is that they don't know how to they don't know the actual classification of them. Like there are only 9 classifications in our schools, but the type of trash is like many, and the instruction on the we have a recycle room is not really doesn't label out all of the trash, like where should you throw them. So sometimes it's really confusing. And secondly, some people just don't willing to like classify and recycle them well. So our model or our website or furthermore our app would like to help students to like classify them well. Thank you.
And you said that you found out that 40% of your trash at school was not being recycled correctly?
Well,
how did you come up with 40, or was that a good guess?
So like we mentioned, we collect many trash pictures in order to put into the model for sample. Actually, we take out the trash in the trash can, and sometimes like when we are taking pictures of general waste, and then we find out like bottles and whatever inside, and it's like 40% of our work is misplaced.
That's quite a job, right? Mm-hmm. Can I ask you, do you know how many bags of garbage you went through?
Well, we take like 600 pictures of them, so and it took us almost 12 the total almost 12 hours.
12 hours of taking pictures of trash. Okay.
It's in total.
Yeah, that's a lot. Okay, so did anybody from your school ask you to do this? Or was it something that you saw was a big problem? Why did it mean so much to you?
We discovered the problem ourselves, and we found out that we could really we could do something for this, so we just give it a try.
Wow, yeah, you did. Do you have anything else you want to say? Before I have some questions for you.
Not really.
No, that's okay, it's okay. I have lots of questions for you. So I have one question about group work. How did you decide who does what? Because working as a group can be really difficult, right? So how did you decide on the jobs that you did in the group? You are classmates first?
Yeah,
okay. So then how did you all come together?
Some of us are very good at the measurement or write some code. So like some of us is really good at writing the script and explaining
This part?
yes. And so I think I'm doing some research. I've searched for some sources of the like YOLO. It is a pre-trained model. So at first we don't really know the
YOLO?
The concept
Oh,
or how it works.
yeah.
So we do some research on it, and this is the part I deal with. And
Did you have instruction on how to use YOLO in class, or did you start from the beginning by yourself?
it's kind of model, so it can be used directly. So
image classification AI model. So it is for AI. It is an AI model that is for image classification. So the thing we only need to do is just put our image and samples inside the model and write the code for that like we have which labels we have and what we want the model to do for us. Yes.
So what was the most challenging part then? Most difficult?
The accuracy once becomes technical. It does enhance at 8% or even drop more lower. So we think that is due to problems of the parameters we give the machine, such as learning rates or number of pictures we put into train at once. So after consulting our instructors or teachers, we learn how to adjust this structure and finally we solve this problem.
Did your teacher introduce random seed to you? Was that how you learned out about the random seed? Because at first you were trying it and you had a great accuracy rate, right? But then it started dropping down, but never below 60%, right? And you said you had a rule that if it tested below 63 times, you would stop.
I think it is like if it descends for 3 times, then we will stop the training and validation.
Okay. And then you would start all over again?
Kind of.
Okay. But you didn't have to do that.
Well, we actually tried many times
Okay.
to reach that 195%.
So here it said your teacher told us about a random seed wasn't set. A random seed.
Like he said, we actually have some of our teammates are really good at like programming and things, so they already know these kind of like the knowledge part, but the idea of trying to change another like computer or things, it's the idea is from teachers or instructors.
Yeah, that's fine. You were learning along the way. Because once you tried that, it worked then, right? It was more
Yeah,
successful.
it's like more like a miracle. But
That's a
we
good word.
really
That's a good-
appreciate it, but it did come out. So we believe that it's also a part of our like hard working or our efforts in it.
Okay. And then you tested it on classmates?
We give some classmates or friends to use our LCM web page.
Okay. Do you know about how many people did you test it on?
Well, some of them I just sent the link to them, so I give many people the link, but only some of them really try and give me feedbacks. The really feedback I receive is like around 30, but most of them only think that, oh, this is quite cool. They haven't used this kind of things before. Like they give us more like a accomplishment, not really like feedback. So
Oh, okay.
the real things we can really use is like the minority of it.
Okay. So could you just maybe walk us through how you actually use your website?
Well, I have a video that
Okay.
we took for another competition, but it's like scene for it. Sorry.
maybe because everybody here can't see, so maybe you can just tell us, explain what's happening, okay?
Okay, so I take a photo of the trash and then I upload it to the web page, and the web page will turn it into will show which classification it is.
That's it?
Yes.
Just like that. So then, was that your first model? Because you said some of the complaints that you had. What were some of the problems people had using it? About uploading, they didn't want to upload.
Okay, so at first, our model is actually you need to take a photo on your camera app and then upload it to the web page.
Right.
But for this, it will face some problems. Is that every time you need to use the classification function, you need to take the photo locally, and that will that would spend your spaces in your phone or something.
Oh, okay.
And second of all, if you need to take a photo on the app and then put it on the website, it's not really convenient. Yes, this is one. And another part is that somebody say our webpage is quite it's quite aesthetically challenged.
Oh.
So we try to improve that part.
Okay, so do you plan on making improvements and changing it?
Yes, we
Is it-
discuss about it and change it.
Is this something you will do? Like the green,
We
green
did.
volunteer trash bin? That's high hopes, yeah.
Yeah.
Can you tell us quickly what your hope is? What would be your dream, your ultimate dream?
Okay, so the next step that we do is that we will turn it into a portable app, and that is not the most difficult thing to do for the next step. Our further step is we would like to turn our website or our code into internet on things that we can put our model on a trash can, and then we will have a door on the trash can that would open if the user throw the trash correctly, they classify it correctly.
Would it actually be like this? You show the trash and it will open if
Yeah.
it's the right one?
Yeah, if you litter
Uh-huh.
and if the classification is right, it will open and then the trash will go in. And I think there are really many things that could be discussed or could be developed. So it is just a concept that
Okay.
we could go further in it.
Did you do much research into what apps or even machines or websites that already exist that can help people with recycling?
Well, for the research, we actually find out that in some city or in countries that actually have AI robots or something that could help you to classify your trash, but because it's in the campus, and what we think we should do is to tell the students, instruct the students how to duly recycle. We want to foster the right knowledge and concept of how the trash is classified, not to help them to deal with this problem.
Okay. And there's only one thing, your project was really well organized. I think you should be very proud of yourselves. The only thing I wanted to hear more about was maybe individually. Like you talked about how you were working as a group, but I would maybe like to hear your individual self-reflections maybe. That's all I'd like to hear. I just want to give a minute. Does anybody have questions for this group? That's what's really difficult is because when I hear technical, YOLO and Python. This is pretty difficult if you don't understand, but you all learned a lot about your what you're studying right now, right? And I hope that you can kind of continue on with this too. Really, this is really good. So no questions? We have 1 minute left. Is there anything you'd like to say? Maybe you can tell me right now your personal, like what it meant to you with this project. Go.
First of all, in this project, I've learned a lot about the different kind of trash. First, seriously, I don't really do the trash classifier when I was growing up.
Okay.
Trash. So this. Also, I was forced to do the correct classification in this project by my teammates.
Okay.
So this is what I've done.
Okay.
At first, I only had a hands-on concept of this YOLO month. But by this experience, I learned a lot from this. It's very good.
Okay. Hands up. Okay, wow. Really good using technology to solve real world problems, you guys. That's really good. Okay, good teamwork. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, everyone. And they wrote that technological innovation can be so close to our daily life, and the AI can make a big difference in how to create a sustainable campus. Thank you. So let me take a 1 minute break, okay? While we take this break, happen to our class. How the group to thank you.
I know you. Okay, ready? No, no problem. Okay, maybe you can give us an introduction to your project.
So my project is about the artistry of controversial art. So this all started when we had this English class, and the purpose of that chapter was to learn arguments. How do you create an argument? Do you support it? Do you object? And the main subject was arguments, but the example they used was graffiti. And the objection side of the article read, how can something so problematic, so controversial be considered art and cause so much problems? And I deeply disagreed with the teacher's argument and the textbook's argument that I decided to go down this rabbit hole so I could go back to the school the next day and tell the teacher, I think the textbook is wrong.
Bravo.
So this is how it started, and then, but I got so intrigued by all the ideas that about graffiti, controversial art. So modern philosophers coined the word independent public art for graffiti. And if you look to public and you go way back and you look at the Latin roots of the word, it is of the people. Graffiti, independent public art, is the art of the people. So the controversy of it, one is vandalism, second, it is not art. When graffiti started to become mainstream, the argument of why it was an art is because it was not considered prestige. It could not be put inside a gallery. But art should be everywhere. And that's what graffiti was first about, to show everyone, to make a sound, to make a pop. Keith Haring, he was a famous New York street artist. He's the one who spray painted ignorance equals fear and who reclaimed the pink triangle. So for context, the pink triangle was used by the Nazi Germans as a way to identify gay men, and they brought it back as an empowerment during the AIDS crisis in America. He spray painted all over New York subway. He got arrested multiple times, got silenced multiple times, got beaten up, and he kept doing it because he said, art is not for you if you don't reach every segment of the people. Art should be of the people. And then when he even deeper into controversy about gender controversy, what women could draw in the Renaissance. So that's how I got into this. So it started by me being a typical teenager and wanting to argue with the teacher to something more about freedom, more about liberty, more about justice, and why people love controversy.
Wow, that's amazing. I was very interested in your motivation because, like you said, it was in class that you heard that statement that it's not art. And I was wondering who said that. Now, was it a textbook or was it the opposing and the teacher?
Yeah,
I thought it was in a debate and a student said.
So my class is the bilingual class. We argue about everything we think about. We argue about, do you make curry bread? So they started a discussion in my class. Like the teacher didn't even have to do it, just start discussing, and then he said, if you believe this is art, raise your hands. Only 2 people raised his hand. The other boy who raised his hand was very into pop culture, into hip hop, so he raised his hand because he believed it has cultural significance. I believed it was art because I disagreed the reason why it wasn't art. And also something that changed with me when I started researching it was I used to despise rap. I thought it wasn't real music, it was just slander, it was violence, it was not fine. I didn't try or didn't want to, I thought I was better than it. But in my process of learning about street art and about Jane Mitchell Banskett, the only black contemporary artist, I started to understand why there's rap. What is it about hip hop? And I started listening to Tupac, I listened to Biggie, I listened to Snoop Dogg, Doja Cat, all of that to understand that I have been taught that art has to look somewhere, music has to do somewhere. So something that researching controversial art taught me is that there's always more than what you know to a certain subject. So you have to be open-minded and what it truly means to be open-minded. So that really amazed me how in pop, so rap means rhythm poetry. It's the poetry rhythmized with beats and like music. That's also controversial. That's also my biggest challenge with doing this is I couldn't narrow down my research and I just expanded until it went then I got 4 days and got handed things. I finished the rest of this in 4 days because my original research spanned over drama, movies, performance art.
Okay, you did go all over the place.
Yeah, and then in the last 4 days I'm like, no, I have to do this. So that's why I'm going down this specific route.
Yeah, you answered another question I had was about had it changed your perspective on not just the art you were looking at, but in other things, and obviously it did with rap music. Can you find it did somewhere else too? What else did you feel like you're maybe looking at it with new eyes?
Religion.
How much time do we have?
20 minutes. Yeah, definitely not enough. So I was obsessed a while back with religion, like learning about different religions. And one religion I loved to make fun of was the Mormons, and they couldn't drink coffee.
That I did not know.
And Joseph Smith, and
Okay.
how absurd it was altogether. But after learning about controversial art and what people are trying to say, what is the meaning behind it, and then revisiting how the Mormon Church was founded, belief, their religion, tithing, you understand, like, I might disagree with them, I might think this is absurd, but I understand, I respect them enough to fight for their right to be respected too. I still don't believe in Joseph Smith, but I do believe that they are a part of this world and they should be treated as any other religion and not be a laughingstock.
Wow. For the research you've done and about how to approach controversial subjects, is there any kind of a pattern you find that you, like something if you said, here's how to look at controversial subjects, like a go-to guide? Like
So-
what do you do first?
Guide. Okay. You have to look at it and you have to feel something. You have to like, in a negative way. I mean literally. You have to look at the thing and you have to think, I disagree with it. I don't like it. Okay, and then you start to sit down and like you deconstruct why you don't like it. So I did this with Francis Bacon, not the philosopher, the painter.
Okay.
They're related. They're related. The painter, he drew the Pope in this purple, bloody, screaming way. And I felt that was disrespectful or like, it just wouldn't feel right to me. So then I started to dissect, one, why I felt this way about it. Why did other people say this about it? And why did he draw it like this? So the go-to guide is you have to first feel something. And then you start dissect to your feelings and other things about this project. So from the Francis painting, I don't know if I can pull it up. So,
Is your ebook finished?
no, I finished half of it, then I got distracted and I added film.
Uh-oh.
Yes, it is. This whole project has been from beginning to
Well, you said time management was one of your biggest challenges, right?
definitely.
Yeah.
The day, when I handed in, if you look at the time stamp, it was 10 minutes before the end of application.
Yes.
10 minutes, I had 10 whole minutes.
What did you do with it? 10 whole minutes.
I made a baked potato, that's very pretty say. I made a baked potato. But this picture in the corner here, this is what I drew at Francis.
Oh, okay.
And the Pope was considered to be a great Pope, so why did he draw it in? He was considered a great Pope. I know I can't really see it, but I draw the picture.
Oh, that's on your, okay, I see, it's for your ebook.
And why did he draw that? So first thing, why I felt this with this, I thought in my head, I think religious portraits should be something sacred. But then I thought, okay, why don't I dare to criticize it? Why do I think people of that sort should be painted in this way? What do I still think that we should pay those people in respect and decency, but why he did? So at that time, it was rumored that his first person who sponsored him was of the church, and he was abused by the church. So after that, his art became a lot more twisted, a lot more dark, more reflective of what he thought was religion. So this idea and the feelings I learned from this apply to a lot of different ways. And that's how I deal with controversy. Like when I now speak, my classmates love to debate stuff. It is an ongoing thing. We have like this bell in front of our classroom where we just hit and there it goes.
Wow,
So-
take a video of that, please, I'd like to
I
see
think we
that.
do. I think our class has an IG channel
Ah.
that we just like capture stuff that happens in our class on a daily. Like we do it once a week and then like updates. And then like so now when I have a controversy or like a question with someone, I have more understanding of why people do controversy. Sometimes we use controversy. Like the person, Harris Banskett, not Banskett, this similar.
Okay.
Banskett. He's also a street artist. He was a well-educated, middle class, black person, but people wouldn't see his art because they didn't. That back then, the New York art scene was very white. So how he decided to make people see him is by graffiti. He used graffiti, but he used concept of David Bowie and Picasso and Da Vinci in the pictures of spray paint and philosophy and black history. And that's what made people see. But that also broke him at the end because people only saw him as a spray paint artist, not as an artist, only as a black artist, not as an artist. But he made history. He was the only, at the time, contemporary artist who was black because he used a controversy in his favor to leverage himself. Many of the artists that we think of controversial are controversial because they wanted to. They wanted us to see it. They wanted us to hear them. They wanted us to change who we think. That's also one of the part of controversy. Controversy, I find it fascinating and beautiful, is that it is humanity to want conflict, to want controversy, to fight against each other, to fight against rules, to fight against anything, basically. We as humans, we like to fight. We like to fight over everything. And art is one of the places where you don't need to know the language. You don't need to know much, but you can just feel.
Have you always been interested in art, like the visual
Yes.
art? Okay.
I've always been in visual arts ever since I was a kid, but my abilities to draw aren't that great.
Well, some of us have to just appreciate,
Yes.
right, what others can do. Yeah.
You're just like amazed at what they can do with their hands.
Yeah. And you said, because you talked about maybe you would like to apply it to other forms of art, like fashion or sculpture. You talked about that, but it sounds like you're going into film and you
I did
got the
fashion.
ball rolling.
I did a fashion, and I went into depth about, in America, it's called the Zeke suit. It was worn up by the blacks and the Jews as a way of showing that they were sophisticated. Like,
Cheap or zoot? Zeke?
I can't remember. It's not really English, it's
Yeah.
African.
Okay.
And then it was banned in the US and in Canada for quite a long time. They were not allowed to wear that specific style of suit because it was tied to gangs
Okay.
or violence. But when it was a protest, a peaceful protest until it turned wrong when they were attacked by police. So I went into fashion, and that's why I'm dressed a little bit different than all of the other people today. I specifically chose an outfit that my mom was going crazy. Like, don't wear that.
And you went, this is right.
This is right, yes. I wore everything on me I wore today in some form or other has symbolic meaning. So, do you guys know what's the color, international color of freedom? Think about a French flag. Blue.
Or white. Blue, white. Or blue.
Blue. It's blue. White is for peace. And red is for love.
And blue is for freedom.
Yes.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. Oh my god, time flies.
Yes, it does.
So everything I wore today was trying to convey the sense of being different, to trying to challenge what we think should be proper, what we think should be, what we think is. But that's the biggest thing I took away from this. Not just the knowledge and the history, but an attitude of having something to say, having something to fight for, having something to express. How do we make people listen? How do we make people feel? How do we connect? So that's something visual and art can do without speaking. Sometimes I feel that we are so separated in so many different ways, or we're so rapidly changing like AI. Sometimes we're like, art brings us back together again and talk. The example I used for my class is about, there's a video of the mountain monkeys, 三大猴子, the videos, and everyone was talking about it. And I thought that was a form of controversial art that we knew that happened to us in our time. But it made people start to think about these people, about these situations. And that's why I love this subject I've been learning for the past few months so much, because it is forever happening and will forever happen. People using the artistry of controversy to improve, to change, to teach.
Wow, I could sit and have coffee with you for a very long time. Did you ever come across any artists or classmates or anybody that you were talking to that just like controversy for controversy's sake?
My dad. My dad is my biggest supporter and biggest hater ever. When I would tell him something, because I didn't have a teacher, I couldn't find a teacher to help me memorize that, so I talked to my dad more about my research. And every time I tell him something, he would just ask me something or tell me, "Are you sure? Try that again." And then I would just keep sitting with myself, keep thinking to myself, just staring into the white wall, thinking, how am I going to make this more entertaining? How am I going to explain this to people who have not spent their nights at 4 a.m. looking at a screen? How am I going to explain to them? So yeah, there are people who like controversy just for controversy, which is a form of art.
Well, yeah, and it would be better than, can you imagine if you said, yeah, it's good enough? That would not drive you further, right?
No, it would drive me crazy.
I'm trying, but what was the pin that you got from your family?
I had, at the highest point, 157 tabs open on my computer. So when I was buying pins for my dad, said, you should buy this one. It said, I have too many tabs open and I don't know where the music's coming from. Because there was a point in my headphones ran out of battery and there was 157 tabs open and I did not know which one was the music coming from. So I went through all 157 of them to find which one the music was coming from.
Wow.
And I think I fired my computer and I'm not sure how I'm gonna fix it yet.
Yeah, maybe you need to put some kind of a lock on your computer that only allows you to open a certain amount of tabs.
There's an app for that, I tried it and I somehow bypassed the system.
It's probably in one of your tabs.
Yeah.
Yeah, you found it, but you can't find it again.
Yeah, it's lost.
Wow, that's, how much time do we have? 1 minute? 1 minute. Oh God, I think you answered pretty much all of my questions that I had. Why did you choose ebook?
Because one, I don't want to like make carbon footprint,
Okay.
like environmental reasons. And also, it's all the same reason I chose English, to share it with more people. Whether it's for the better or the worse, English is still the primary academic and spoken language.
Okay.
And I could share it with more people, or it would be easier to share. And also, I like the idea that we don't see digital art as important and as real physical art, and I just wanted to be spiteful.
I want to see it when it's done. Have you shown what's finished to anybody?
I've shown my dad. And
See, you want it. You want that.
And I think that's the reason why, one of the reasons why it's still not finished yet.
I love what she said. Oh, yeah. Good job, Dad. You know, my mom always used to say, be open-minded, but not so much so your brain falls out. Which obviously it has not. So yeah, this was really interesting.
Thanks, Ryan, to prove us that the art is not only the sightseeing, it's all about challenging and questioning and even breaking the boundary. Thank you. Let's welcome the group third. Jessie.
So happy to be here. So happy
Oh,
to
good.
be nominated.
Yay, yay, glad to
I
hear
just
it.
can't wait to share this because it's actually okay. So just feel free to ask me any question because it's actually not about the guidebook. It's about my lifetime story. Yeah,
Yay,
I'm here
okay.
to share myself to everyone. So just ask any question you want.
Wow. Okay, so
I'm so nervous.
do you want to say? Okay, go ahead. She's got it. She's wearing that. Do you have any more you'd like to say just to introduce what you?
Okay, so
Your project as
first
well.
I want to introduce myself. Hi everyone, I'm Christy, and I'm from Kaohsiung, and I'm in St. Dominic High School. And I'm here to share my self-directed learning project that calls The Power of Self-Directed Learning. It's kind of weird, but just listen to my lifetime story.
So can you tell me a little bit about what were some of your other projects?
Oh, okay. So the first one, well, actually self-directed learning is part of my ability. It's not about a school project. So my very first one is to perform at school, the musical. Do you know Matilda the musical?
I know Matilda the story. I didn't know.
Yeah, and she had a musical, and then The song is called Naughty. And the very first time I performed on stage is like the musical one. On stage is like the song was very inspiring. Okay, so it goes like just a minute. Just because you find that life's not fair, it doesn't mean that you just have to grin and bear it. If you always take it on the chin and wear it, nothing will change. And then it goes like. But nobody else is gonna put it right for me. Nobody is gonna change my story. Sometimes you have to be a little bit naughty. I'm 18.
But when you did that, how old were you then?
16.
16, so
Yeah,
that's
I
okay.
am 16 going
Uh-huh.
on 17.
Is this when your self-learning journey began, or did it begin before that?
Before that, yeah. And the very first one, like the school project, is the singing competition. You know, I love musical, and then I love to be an actress in the musical theater. So the singing contest is actually a little bit boring. So I make it a very cool performing. Like I combine the how to say that? I don't know. You know, 中乐 like 国乐 and 西乐 like the violin and the you know how do you say that? 二乐 oh like 二胡 or 扬琴. Do you
What
know
is
that?
that? No. What
Like
is
the traditional
Chinese music instrument.
So yes, so I combine it together and then I perform part of your world. And then I dance ballet on the stage and then sing. So it's very, you know, cool for many of my classmates or schoolmates. And they're just like, why do you dance on the singing contest?
Well, I want to do, so you remember, what was the reaction of the audience when you did
Well, they are, Jessie, marry me!
So
I don't
very
even know
positive.
why is that. And after that, I think of, oh, so I can do a lot more than I thought. You know, when you have the experience of learning by yourself, you'll think that, oh, so the, be honest, I am not a very good student. You know, good student have good grades.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And then I'm not that good at the grade and school stuff, but I'm really good at singing, dancing, and acting. So it's kind of like you have the conflict in your heart. You have to get a good grade so your mom will be happy and your teacher will not every day blah, 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 by your ears, you know. And then another one of me is like you have to be you. You have to do what you want to know. You want to think. You want to just do yourself. You don't have to care about others. I know the opinion is good. They have they give you the comment and to help you grow, but it's not actually pretty important. But most important is what you like, you think, and yourself. So that's what I learned from a lot of project, but not all the project from is like this.
Yeah,
you know,
for the formal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it is actually that I mentioned is an ability. It's not just the project that I have to do at school. So it's a little bit complicated if I explain all the things.
What is, you talked about meta learning, right?
Yeah.
What does that mean to you?
Okay, so the meta learning, for many people they don't know, is you learn what's your learning orbit. So so I love musical, that's the motivation. And then I try to sing. And then I try to find a lot of resources on the internet. So that's what I do to help me learn. And then I perform the outcome. So you have to do the input and the output that help you learn. You can really have the experience of, you will feel the sense of achievement after all. So that's meta learning looks like. But sometimes you will have some problem with this. Like, okay, so what am I feeling like if I don't achieve my goals? If I, what if I fail? What will happen? And you'll think like, okay, so this is kind of crazy. How my brain is working now? Yeah, so that's what meta learning looks like. And what that means to me is to learn to be, you have to accept all the things in your life. So I just tell you, this is my lifetime story.
I can see why, like in school, traditional school setting, everything's measured,
Yes.
right? And like there's metrics, certain metrics. But for you, you talked a lot about how you feel when you're
Yes.
learning something. So you have your own measurement, your own metrics.
Yeah.
For this.
So that's why I think self-directed learning is powerful, because it can help you to achieve something you don't think you can achieve, and something that your school don't want to teach you sometimes. Like I love to dance, I love to sing, but the traditional education is like, you have to know the math, the Chinese, the science, and like
You stopped singing after kindergarten. What a shame.
You have to sing all the time. Okay, so this is if you sing every day, like 10 minutes, it will reduce your pressure. You know that?
I believe it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So,
scientifically proven.
so I sing every day, dance every day, and then I have a better person ever. So if I am not me, I will just look at me and say, wow, you're so good at this.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you feel, okay, so from the beginning of when you were your self-learning journey to now, what do you think are some of the biggest takeaways or the things that you've learned the most about yourself?
Learn for myself. Okay.
Like learn about yourself or your approach to learning or things that have changed or your attitudes or things you need to work
I am
on?
quite too confident.
I've never, yeah, that's good to hear.
Well, sometimes you have to perform on stage or just like now.
Yeah.
You have to have some kind of confidence that's come from nowhere. I don't know. But sometimes other people will tell me, you are too confident, you are too,
Do you ask them what does that mean?
they don't even know. I asked them, so am I like, this is not good? Or is it bothering you or something? And they say, no, but it's a little bit too much.
Oh, okay.
But I will tell myself, it's okay. It's okay, because this is what a performer have to have this ability. Yeah. So when I first started self-directed learning, it's not really hard because I feel I am like set free. I feel myself have something, I don't know, but inside of me, and then you'll just use the power and you'll feel powerful. Like every day it's growing, and every day you feel yourself, it's like a tree,
Yeah.
sometimes.
What do you do when you hit a wall or you feel that you failed at something?
Oh, okay. Well, I would go and cry like a night or 3 days or a week, and after that I will calm myself down.
Oh.
Yeah, like maybe try to sing a little song or dance, like a movement, and try to ask myself, is this really important to me? So is this familiar? Is it pretty important? Is it embarrassing? It is, I don't know, some kind of feeling I can't explain. And then after that, I'll just say to myself, it's okay to be not okay. It's okay to be imperfect, but you already complete.
things or do the complete. You know.
So then it's often, we say we learn from our mistakes. Are there any you feel that you repeat? That you go, oh, I know that I shouldn't do this, but you did it anyway. Is there something that you feel like, oh, I keep making that mistake?
Yeah. Do you know stage fright?
Oh, yes, I do. Yeah.
It's kind of like, I always tell myself, it's okay, it's just a stage, but when you stand up and then, oh shit.
Stage and people. Yeah.
Yeah, and you just, I think that is a mistake because when I was younger, when I was like in kindergarten, I don't feel that shame or don't feel the things. I just feel so free on stage, and I think the stage is my home. But after like I try to, I find the resources to help me grow my singing skills and dancing, all the things, and you try to learn something and you try to perform, you will feel like, oh, am I doing it wrong? Am I using the wrong placement? Or, and you think a lot, and then you have the stage fright all the time. Well,
Now, I want to ask you about the guidebook.
okay.
I'm
so
very curious
excited.
about this.
I'm so excited to share with you. Okay, so the guidebook, what motivated me is the speeches I delivered at school. I helped my the younger student in our school to tell them, how to do the self-directed learning, how to choose the topic. And then after those two speeches, I was like, so this is not just about me. The self-directed learning is not just about me, but I can help others. So I have an idea comes up. I finished my guidebook.
Yay!
If you guys want this book, you can go to my Instagram account, and I have the link on my portfolio. Okay. So this book is actually a little bit complicated. So this is for the advanced. It's not for. I don't think it's for beginner because the opening and question is like too much. Maybe I can develop to the multi-choice or the truth or false. So for this book, the very first step, I tell them to go to the end of the page and then write down what you want to achieve and to encourage yourself. Like if I write in this book, I will write, this is like write something to your future self. I'll say you are just good enough. You don't have to be perfect. Or I can write something else, and then I go back to the first page. So I divide this to 7 days. So in our school, usually everyone will have 21 weeks or 18 to 21 weeks, right? So I divide it to 7 parts. I mean 7 days, and then you can
Oh, you
plan.
designed it to fit in with
Yes.
the.
So 7 days multiplied by 3, and then you will have 21, right?
See, you got it.
It's an easy one. Yeah. And then, so for the first day, I will ask you about when is your first time feel your achievement, like the sense of achievement, and then anything you like to write it down. I have a lot of blank over here, and then write it down all the things in your life that make you feel like you can remember the happiest moment, anything you like.
Is it right? I guess you can write or draw.
Yes,
Yeah.
anything. So you can use it as a journal or a plan book. So it is like designed by you. It's up to you. So and the next one, I will ask you, what do you like to do? You like to sing? You like to do some handmade stuff, DIY, or
You have any
Anything you like.
categories, different categories?
yes.
Okay.
So the knowledge, the habit, and creation. Oh,
self-explore or
Do you have an English version of this?
I'm so
Not yet.
sorry,
No,
not
that's
yet.
okay.
Yeah.
That's the answer, not yet.
Okay, so you can register over here or just use the highlighter, and then the first day you will have the another question for you, so you can find out what you really like and find out like there is a question if there's anything you want to do in the past but you didn't start it.
Okay.
So sometimes that's just begin because like my musical life is just begin like this. And the second day, second part, okay, so you can write it down, 5 things you want to do like from here. And then you'll go down and then write it down your topic and what outcomes do you like, or how will you do this? What I worry you will face the difficulties, and how can I fix the problem? And then it goes like this, 7 part, and then you don't have to decide your topic on the first day because the first day is actually 3 weeks.
Oh, okay, the first
Yeah.
section, okay.
Yeah, so you can just decide by yourself. And then you will have the journal. What do you feel today? Do you think your project is how much, like 50%, 100%? Or you feel very happy? Oh, I'm so excited to do this because I never did it before. And then the second day is like every day you have a checklist to write it down. And this one, I want everyone to just copy out, write by your hand. Okay, so this is another thing. This book is called Learning How to Learn. Do you know this book?
I wanted to, who's the author? Is it?
Ooh, it's a little blurry. If you can.
I wanted to ask you if you had because a lot of this is from your own research, but you have other sources that you've
Yes,
been using
so
for this.
the first time we
Barbara
got.
Oakley. Yay, that's what I was going to ask you about.
Okay, so the
She
first
has a
time.
great way of explaining things.
Oh, yeah. She used a lot of use the octopus
Yes.
and then use anything you can in your
That's a
brain.
very good choice. Yeah.
Yes, and then my first time reading this book, I just like, so how can this help my grades to, because I don't really have a good grade. But after the self-directed learning, I feel that, so this is tell you how to learn by yourself. Learn is your brain, how your brain is working, and then you can learn what you want to learn. So, okay, there's only 1 minute left, so I want to say, I'm so happy to say to everyone that this topic. Okay, so the self-directed learning is not just the school project, but to make you feel free. Okay. That's all.
Any questions
Yeah. Any question?
for her?
No.
No?
Oh.
Well, thank you so much. I really like because the theme of this is yes I can and so can you. That's what you just
Yes, I can.
Yeah, and so can you.
Everyone can be the designers of their own learning and finding their own path and direction. Thank you, Jesse. And with that, welcome the principal again.
I have some notes too. You feel okay? Let's have some fun. Okay, so this is Mary. Welcome, Mary. You brought a fan section. That's good, yeah. Maybe you can introduce your project.
Yes, okay. My project is exploring the gender ideologies and now know it's a huge topic. But we will talk about one point of this topic, which is the gender children education and how the gender ideologies is introduced in children education.
Yeah, because so in your journey, I actually want to hear what was the beginning. You talked about a documentary, and so was that something you saw in school, or you just saw on your
No,
own?
I just watched it at home on my own, and this documentary really impressed me.
Okay. What's the name of the documentary?
Where is a woman? And
Okay.
talk about Matt Washington. It's by Matt Washington, and he in this documentary exploring the modern gender theory, the transgender movement, and during in this documentary he's traveled different countries and asked people like doctor, psychologist, politician, a seemingly simple question, what is a woman? But this documentary let me realize how society has confusion about genders, and I choose this topic because I see that this documentary talk about the relationship between science, culture, and truth. So I was impressed by Matt Walsh because he stands up and fight for his belief, his own belief so much. And yeah, and I know what's truth is talking about. As I said, I'm born into a Christian family, so I have the experience that a Christian in a daily life is forced to go against the current because we have different mindset. Because this is my own experience. So when I see a person stand up and have the courage, I want to give my own, like him, in a small way, give my own contribution. And yeah, so that's why I chose this topic, and that's why I really enjoy watching this documentary.
So the documentary came first. That was your interest,
Yes.
and then coming up with the self-directed learning.
Yes.
You just put
At
the
the same time.
at the
so
same
I-
time.
yeah,
So you're like, ding.
I know my
Yeah, okay. It's
Yeah.
funny how life works like that, right? Yeah. Did you
Both
find?
them. Thank you.
So I'm always interested in the journey of how did your thinking change, maybe along, like either watching the documentary that was the spark, right? And even maybe from the beginning of the documentary to the end, maybe it changed something in you. But then along your research, did you find that some of your own beliefs were challenged, or that you were changed, or it just opened your mind? Tell a little bit about your
Yeah,
feelings, what you went
No,
through.
I see that first the project I was confused because we have the religion practice perspective and we have what the word say about this or what is the truth. So that's why and when I do my research I see that during the research I see that I want to do this project not on my religion's perspective, but in a human perspective, from a human perspective. So it's like the phenomenon and how this phenomenon influence the children, yes. So what's dangerous or how influence them.
Yeah, you talked about the phenomenon that you noticed in your life. Can you give some examples
Yes,
of things
of
that you
course.
witnessed?
And we see that in this society the reality changing. I discovered that in the Cambridge Dictionary we have a second definition of the term woman,
Okay.
which is an adult who identifies as a female throughout has been assigned a different sex at birth. So this is so we see that the gender ideology is gender ideology ideas, and yeah, then we see that in school, in the education field, we see that some projects, are in school are introducing teach students to children to be kind and respectful, but in reality they let a child explore. They expose. Sorry.
It's okay.
they let the child expose the gender ideas very early, and maybe they say to children that they're born in the wrong body, or they could, if you don't are perfectly feminine or masculine, you must be the opposite sex, or maybe yeah, these ideas are tells these ideas to children, and this lead them to confusion, identity confusion, and what was the question?
I'm sorry, no, that's okay, Rebecca. I want to just take it, the phenomenon, like,
Yeah.
did you actually witness something, or is there somebody in your life that you know, like a personal connection to it? Or just what you would see
No.
generally, more general?
No, I see more generally.
Okay. So you talked about during your research, you had faced many problems. So one of them is just the amount of information there is.
Yes.
So it's a very large, broad topic. But also you're dealing with sensitive issues too. What was the most challenging part about this in the research?
The most challenging part was talking about it, because we see that this topic is highly debated, so you need to have the clear idea of talking about it, because and it's a funny moment when I use translation tools that I like ChatGPT, and then I translate a content and a content.
The content, yeah.
And ChatGPT remove my contents and say for policy reasons.
Oh.
Yeah, so I in that moment I realized that that's really a debate topic, and that's
Sensitive
not
topic,
open.
yeah.
That's not open discussion like this.
Did it, because you have Italian and English and
Yeah,
Chinese,
yeah.
did you face the same problem in your research?
No,
Like when you put it
when
in?
I was translating English to Chinese,
Okay.
so the content is English.
And then it stopped. Oh, interesting. Did you try it with Italian?
No.
I just was curious if it would make a
I didn't
difference,
think that-
right? And you said like when you wrote you did a presentation in school,
I did.
and you said some parts still need to be translated into Italian. Are you presenting in Italian at school?
No.
Oh, okay.
In
Oh,
Chinese.
in Chinese, okay,
Yes.
because it said into Italian. So, did you do the presentation at school?
Yes.
Okay, can you tell us about how that?
And yeah, I was so excited,
Excited or nervous?
nervous, and but I see that the reaction was really positive, and I received the excellent work. And
Yeah.
I see that in Taiwan maybe it's more open in debate, so we can be talking about it. But when I told to an Italian friend,
Okay.
he was, oh, are you serious that he didn't believe me that I can do it like this, because they are more, oh, you need to pay attention, something like that.
So it
they
would
are
not be as
afraid.
easy to do this if
the
you weren't
discussion, you're afraid to talk about your opinion because of
Actually, that's interesting. If you had this presentation, how it would go over in different countries. Would you have to change it?
No, I would not, but the reaction probably.
The reaction would be different.
Yeah.
And why did the school have you do the presentation? What was the purpose? Was it part of the self-directed learning?
Yes, yes.
Okay, and it was judged? Like you got an excellence?
Yes.
Oh, wow. And how about your classmates? What was some of the feedback you got from classmates?
Yeah, they just told me that, oh, this is, it was, the reaction from the classmate was, they say that, oh, you're, like, this is a difficult topic, and it was like, you have collect a lot of information, and the teachers too, they told me that it's an interesting topics, so
So you did a PPT,
yeah,
That's
my
right.
final result was a PPT.
and you narrowed it down to
The,
children.
yes, the definition of effort in my research, we have the definition of gender equality, there's the reading, which is very interesting, and then the phenomena, the reality changing, what is changing, and the gender dysphoria, and finally how this influence education, children, what's the answer, and then my opinion.
Okay, and then your opinion. And then even that subtopic had so many things you could talk about too. Were you feeling overwhelmed that
Yeah,
every time you discovered something
yeah,
it was more and more?
yeah.
So how did you manage all that
Yeah,
information?
at the beginning of the semester, my original plan was to exploring every use the documentary as a guide
Mhm.
and follow all the topic. But then I realized that it wasn't possible because it's talking about many things, so I just choose one aspect.
Yeah,
And it's a lot to chat
yeah.
anyway.
And you said at the end was your opinion.
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
Keep rolling. Yes, so my party opinion is that we can teach students to be kind. Of course, we need to like kids know about this gender dysphoria, that there exists, that it's real, and how we need the next thing I can learn is how we can treat them, how we can help them, but we can treat students to be respectful and kind, but without that the whole generation fall into a gender confusion, because that's what happened. We are a child, we are let a little child expose them to gender ideas that are confusing them, or we see the phenomena that we see that it's easier that children or minors are facing puberty blockers or medical intervention. What's changed? It's changed the method of treat the gender dysphoria kids. So now, before we wait after the puberty to finish, and after we see the adulthood, they can choose to undergo a transgender intervention. But now, instead of waiting to the puberty finish, the kids are encouraged to intervene the medical intervention.
A very controversial topic right now. So you talked about your next step in your self-directed learning is to discuss topics like this in the future at different perspectives from different cultural backgrounds. Can you tell me, do you have any idea how you could do that, or have you already started that conversation?
I found interesting in how the psychological part of my project, which is we're talking about gender dysphoria, and I see a lot of interviews from psychology, and I feel that this is very interesting to me. So maybe in the future I would going on this study from becoming a psychologist and help those children to let them right in the better way, help them.
Yeah, no, that's right. I understand. I think that's so it actually could help you choose your career. I was thinking because you did a PPT and you were inspired by a documentary. I would like to see those go together, and you could do a documentary and talk to people
okay.
from like
Okay,
if you talk and you because you already how many languages do you speak?
Italian and Chinese. English is not.
Listen to you in English. I could see you doing that because I think if you can get different perspectives from different cultures, it's fascinating. Yeah.
Wow.
So there's like, and then that would be quite a presentation to do a documentary. Just one quick question: the person that did the documentary, what's his name?
Matt Walsh.
Matt Walsh. Matthew, like Matt
Matt
Walsh.
Walsh.
What was his quick story? What was he?
He didn't study the language psychology. He
Just
just
his life.
been famous for this documentary and see the society are changing.
Is it on Netflix?
Yeah.
How did you see it?
No,
Oh,
but it would be difficult to find it.
it would be? Oh,
Yeah,
how did
but-
you find it?
A friend.
Okay. Yeah, I would like to see you do a documentary. I think that would be, yeah. If you could pick one of these subtopics to go further into, would you keep going with the children and gender identity, or is there some other area you'd like to explore? With like you talked about gender and sex,
Yes.
and there are so many areas you could go into. Is there another area you would like to go into, considering gender and sex? Because you narrowed it down to talking with children.
Yes.
And
Oh, I was a woman.
Ah.
And the woman, because I know, like I said, the second definition of the word woman. So this is the gender ideology. The first victim of the gender ideology will be woman. Like the sports in the prison.
So that might be
They
the
are-
next one, yeah.
Yeah.
This is a whole wide world that's opened up for you too, so I think you could do it. But I look forward to your documentary. Yeah. I have to say too, talking to Mary is so hard for me because she looks just like one of my nieces. So it's like talking to my niece with an Italian accent. I can't get it. Maybe about 20 years ago, 25 years ago. So does anybody have any questions for our lovely Mary? I had some questions. I was talking to Mary before because she's been in Taiwan 7 years. And I asked where in Italy she's from, and she said, oh, the middle part, that's not very famous. And I said, oh, I'm from the middle part of Canada that's also not famous. Are there farmers there? Yes. So I know where she comes from, but just in another country. So I'm really happy to meet you too. And I wish you all the luck. Yeah, I think we can just wrap it up by saying thank you very much.
Next time we demonstrate her respect for diversity and the care about for differences. And thank you all today for participating in our 15th session for the event today. And now I want to invite you, all of you, stand up and come to the stage to have the picture with teacher Nancy.
Nancy,
Yeah. Okay.
I want to just say too, like 4 different topics, completely different. But you all should be commended on your confidence and to be able to clearly state what you've learned. And it gives me inspiration, really, because we're all always learning. I'm trying to learn Chinese and I get discouraged, but you are really inspirational, and you do give me hope for the future when I, don't look at what's happening in the news, and I can see what our future really is here, because you're really doing it. So thank you very much. I'm so proud of all of you. Wow.